Hey y'all, here for Basketball Wives reunion. I don't know why I thought this would be a more than one parter when last season the reunion was only an hour. Same with this one. It was rushed. It was pointless. We don't care. Y'all just need to stop doing reunions because we don't care. They basically discussed the same thing they've been talking about all season, so this review might not even be long. But Mark Lamar Hill was basically asking Shawnee who she wanted to not come back or whatever, and she said last season she didn't want Brandy to come back. This season she didn't. After this season she don't want Duffy to come back. She doesn't care for Duffy coming back because she feels like Duffy didn't add to the story. Duffy was only like a cameo, like she was only around when other people was on, which is true. Duffy was Brandy's friend. Duffy was doing a favor for Tammy. That's the only time Duffy was around was as a cameo. She wasn't there to tell her story because we didn't find out she had a son until the Portugal trip. Matter of fact, before then, when she apologized to Jazz. But other than that, we ain't know she had a son. We didn't know she, was this world famous DJ as she claims she is, So, they kind of sort of went into it with her and Tammy, and Tammy basically told her, don't buck, because if I nuck, it's going to be a problem. And I'm like, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that. If somebody try to buck at me, I'm going to be like, don't buck, because if I nuck, it's going to be a problem. Just like we take, don't come for me unless I send for you. We use that ever since Kenya Moore said it. That's like about the only thing I like that Kenya Moore said. But anyway, so they started talking about how Duffy and Malaysia didn't hit it off at first, and Malaysia was like, Duffy hadn't met me a day in her life, but yet she had an opinion about me, and quite frankly, I didn't like her at first. She got on my nerves, So they was talking about how Brandy and Duffy call each other their sisters, and Jackie was like how it was all a joke at once. So they were starting to question, like, why is Brandy and Duffy sisters and they're not around each other like that, but Malaysia and Brandy are always around each other? Wouldn't she be your sister too? So, they're like, you can't be sisters if you're not around each other like that. So, at the same time, Tammy is like, well, nobody cares about your relationship. And Duffy is like, yeah, I guess y'all do. So they talk about Angel Love and her initiation to the group and how everybody was picking on her or whatever, and it ended with the argument between her and Duffy. So Duffy apologized to Angel Love, and Angel was like, no, F your apology, because you said what you said, and then you were on social media talking about me, and I don't respect that. If it was a genuine apology, you would have said it right then and there. So, Angel brought up the fact that Duffy follows Amber Rose, and she's like, if you are so into women empowerment and all of that, and you follow Amber Rose and all of that, why would you sit up here and discredit and belittle somebody? And then Malaysia was like, well, you can't belittle her when you're a hypocrite because you've done videos before too. So Brandy called Angel Love out and was like, well, you're fake because she said everything she had to say about you to your face or whatever. And Angel was like, well, I stopped because I heard she was talking all this noise about me. So Brandy and Angel going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So Mark Lamar Hill is like, yo, y'all got to calm it down. We got to move on. So Brandy was like, no, hold on. And then they started going back and forth. And Angel was like, why am I even sitting next to her? So they switched seats. Her and the other Angel switched seats. That ended that conversation. I don't even know why they were arguing. It wasn't even that big a deal. Let's move on. Now, as weird as this may seem, Jackie actually had more funny moments this season than she did crazy moments. And they highlighted that. They highlighted her with the tiger roar. They highlighted her with the waist trainer. Her getting her laser therapy and the colonic and everything. And her talking about having liver sarcoidosis, which she ain't know how to pronounce it. Like, just all kinds of stuff. But then they also highlighted Jackie's crazy moment with the dress. Talking about she couldn't breathe or whatever. And she explained why everything escalated at Angel Brink's event. She said it was because the dress took hours to come. She didn't, her liquor was on the floor. The dress was tight. She couldn't breathe. She said it was a lot of things that frustrated her. And she said Angel didn't reach out to her. And Angel was like, well, my assistants tried to reach out to her and bring the dress to her. And she said no. So, they were basically saying that they feel like Angel plays the victim, and she does say slick comments and whatever. So Angel was like, everything I say y'all take out of proportion, or y'all blow it out of proportion, so I should just sit back and not say anything. So Angel says, you know what? I wish all the ladies the very best, but ooh, I'm sorry, y'all. That's my son snoring in the background. She's like, I wish all the ladies the very best, but I don't think I'm going to be around the girls like that anymore. So Mark Lamont Hill is like, so you're saying you're leaving the show? She's like, I'm not really saying that. I just say I wish them the best. I'm just not going to be around them because it's like everything I say, you know, they take it to heart. So they started talking about Angel's story with her son and how her son's father committed suicide when she was 9 months pregnant with him. And how when Angel was trying to explain to her son, listen, I don't want to hear you saying that you don't have a dad because you do or whatever. So, you know, that part did tug at our heartstrings. And I felt bad because her son was really, really hurt or whatever. But, you know, she comforted him and she spoke to him, which was a, you know, nice thing to do and the right thing to do as a mom. And then they started talking about Tammy and Reggie. Mommy. And yes. What are you doing? They started talking about Tammy and Reggie and what's the status of their relationship. And she's like, you know, Reggie ain't going nowhere. He talks, but he ain't going nowhere. So we're looking into other options. We may look into having a surrogate. And, you know, we're just going to keep it pushing and try and have this baby. So now we got to the important part of the whole reunion, the whole Tammy versus Duffy thing. And I just feel bad for Duffy. Duffy just took major L's this whole reunion because everybody was coming at her. She done got it from Malaysia. She done got it from Angel. She done got it from Tammy. She done got it from Shawnee. Like, everybody was just... Duffy was the scapegoat tonight. Put it down. So, you know, basically they were saying that Duffy needs to humble herself because she does. This whole season she was walking around talking about, I'm DJ Duffy, I'm successful, I'm this, I'm that. But, I mean, it is true. Nobody's really heard of you before this show. And I mean, that's not to say that you're not successful. It's just to say that nobody's heard of you. So you do need to humble yourself because as quick as you can get it, it could get taken away from you. So, you know, Duffy is like, I'm just, you know, giving myself credit for what I do as a DJ or whatever. She's like, just like you, Shawnee, you always threatening to fire people and saying how you're the producer. And Shawnee was like, yeah, like how I'm about to fire you. I was like, okay. So they were talking about the whole Portugal fight, and they were basically like, Duffy should have just not said anything as Tammy was walking away. And that is what she did. She was sitting there still talking as Tammy was walking away, basically provoking Tammy. When Tammy walked away, if she'd have left it alone, it wouldn't have escalated to that point. But then you said you called Tammy a liar and you brought up her daughter again, so Tammy felt the need to turn back around and give you the hands. And then when it was, and I saw it because I was watching it, when it was a bunch of people holding Tammy back, you did swing at Tammy. And then you're like, well, at that point, she was too close to me. No, it was like mad security guards, Brandy, Malaysia, Shawnee, all of them holding Tammy back. She wasn't nowhere near close to you. When they were trying to pull her away from you, you swung at her. That's some weak stuff. So yeah, I don't respect you for that either, Duffy. So Tammy was like, respect the street code. Because there was plenty of times where, yes. What is that? No. There was plenty of times where you could have squared up with Tammy. Y'all could have fought or whatever. Y'all could have did whatever, but you didn't. Each and every time Tammy met up with you, you either didn't say anything, or when she confronted you, you didn't have anything to say at all. And then you waited until Tammy was like, oh, I no longer have no issue. Or she was like, you know, I'm over it, to say how you felt. Wrong place, wrong time, each time. So, yeah, Duffy, nobody respects you. You definitely lost cool points with a lot of people because that was weak girl stuff. And Tammy was like, listen, we could settle this. Put it down. We could settle this in a celebrity boxing match. Do it for charity, because I've been waiting to knock that prefabricated grill off your face and all this other. And I was like, yo, Tammy is a mess. She was like, there will never be a daytime, never, where we will square up and you will beat my ass. And I'm like, yeah, that's basically the truth. So Shawnee is like, you know what? I think after this season, it's not even going to be relevant anymore. So we could just move on. So the reunion basically ended there. It wasn't really much. It was just an hour-long reunion. It was the whole season squeezed into an hour. They didn't talk about Jackie's... Leave it. You always touching something. They didn't talk about Jackie's... I'ma pop you again. They didn't even talk about Jackie's wedding. They didn't talk about... what else they didn't talk? They didn't talk about her wedding. They didn't talk about... you know, Brandy and Jason and her relationship with him, they didn't really, they talked about, you know, they rushed, the reunion was rushed, it was boring, it was not needed. I'm glad it wasn't more than one part because, you know, just like I said last video, I am over Basketball Wives. Like, this franchise, it should just go. Just shut it down and move on to something else. Like, that's how I feel. But y'all let me know how y'all felt about the reunion and the season as a whole. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and I'll see you guys soon.